What is Hubud? We're going to break it down for you step by step.
Hubud, the world's greatest self-defense technique. Brought to you by EPOC Martial Arts. What makes Hubud the world's greatest self-defense technique? Hubud is the greatest for 6 reasons. 1. It is easy to learn. 2. It has integrated motion flow with the opponent. 3. It develops attributes systemically deep into the brainstem. 4. It is comprehensive to all physical force, stand-up, ground, empty hands, and weapons. 5. It is anti-fragile, meaning it strengthens, rather than weakens, under pressure. 6. It maximizes the opponent's vulnerability while reducing yours. Scott Gehring and Sean Morrisey will break down the details of this amazing tool.
Hubud is 4 beats of raise, raise, slap, hit. What does that mean? Sean's going to come in with a strike. I'm going to block it. So we're going to do an upward block or roof block. This is the first raise. Raise. The second raise is to zone to the outside. So this is raise 2. So I have raise 1 as a roof or upper block. Raise 2, zone to the outside. Okay? It's 2 beats. Raise, raise. The third beat is a slap. So I actually neutralize the arm and push it toward him. The fourth beat is a strike. Okay? So I'm going to go raise, raise, slap, and hit. And those are the 4 beats of Hubud. From a different angle, I want raise, raise, slap, and hit. Now when Sean does it, he's going to go raise, raise, slap, and hit. We take turns working that out so we get the feel of the timing and the rhythm. Again, it's an upward block, a zone, a slap, and a hit. Upward block, zone, slap, and hit.
Integrated motion flow with the opponent.
This needs to be integrated. Hubud needs to be integrated into what we call motion flow. So what does that exactly mean? Well, when he goes raise, raise, slap, hit, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to prevent from being hit. So I'm going to go raise, slap, hit. And he goes raise. And we take turns doing raise, raise, slap, hit. Let's slow it down. Raise, raise, slap, hit. Slap, hit. And you get this rhythm going. Yeah, there it goes. And now it becomes a contiguous flow. There's no beginning and no end. It's a circle. It's a pattern. Beautiful. And this is the base of Hubud. When we're doing Hubud, we want to create this motion pattern as a base. So we start with the raise, raise, slap, hit. We do that individually. Raise, raise, slap, bam! And I hit him in the face with whatever. Okay, so I want to practice the Hubud individually. Then we connect it. Oh, raise, slap, boom! And I defend. And he defends. And then we play this game. And this develops attributes. This takes a little bit of practice. You want to get this to the point where you're bored. That's how you know you're getting good. When this gets boring, and you're like, all right, enough of this, then you know you're getting to the point where you got your Hubud developed.
The golden triangle.
One of the nice things about the Hubud is it when I go to the outside, raise, raise, slap, hit, it takes me to what we call the golden triangle. Which is this section of the body right here. Once I hit someone in this spot, they're totally vulnerable for counterattack. They're neutralized. So when I go raise, raise, slap, hit on that right arm, he's neutralized. That's the golden triangle. It's one of the great things about Hubud. It repetitively takes you to the most vulnerable position of the human body.
The pass variation.
Once we have our base Hubud developed and we're comfortable with that raise, raise, slap, hit, we're going to add some variations. We're going to start playing with this motion pattern, start twisting it around. So when the first beat comes, that boom, that's a raise, that's a roof block or an upward block. Rather than that, we're going to put a variation in there. It's called a pass variation. So when he comes with that shot, instead of going to the inside with the upward block and stopping it, I'm going to pass it to the outside. So I'm actually playing on the inside lateral field of engagement. Well, on this one, I'm on the outside lateral field of engagement. And that's called the pass variation. So we go pass, raise, slap, and hit. 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 And this becomes more of a parry. Boom. So I got a block, raise, slap, hit. Block, raise, slap, and a parry, raise, slap, hit. And this brings out a slightly different form of energy. And then what I do is I start varying. Raise, slap, hit. Pass, slap. Block, slap, hit. And now we play, and we vary this up. And now you got both versions of play. Then 2 variations, pass, slap, hit, and block, slap, hit.
Systemic integration of the brainstem.
There's 3 parts of the human brain. We have the rational brain, the limbic system, which is the emotional brain, and we have the survival brain. This develops the survival brain, that fight or flight, that reactionary instinct. We do this over and over and over again. We can move around and change the pattern to get this in to our limbic system. Again, we're trying to work this deep into our basal ganglia. Which is the brain stem. It's what's responsible for reaction time.
4 reference points of attack.
Once we have these patterns developed and we're playing, what's really the point of this? Well, we're trying to develop attributes, but also they create different reference points of attack. So when that arm comes through, I raise, I've got this reference point right here at this point. Bam! To put in a shot. Okay, so I can go raise, shot. Okay, so that's reference point 1. We'll call that the inside. When I raise on the second raise, I've got underneath. Okay, so I have inside, underneath. Okay, when I slap, raise, I go outside. Okay, and then my 4th shot's on top. Okay, so this creates a spectrum of reference points around the arm. I've got the inside, underneath, outside, on top.
The application of reference point 1. Inside.
This might be an oversimplification, but a good heuristic of martial arts is wrestling arts versus striking arts. Okay, so you have arts that grapple and you have arts that strike. Both types of attacks, whether it's a wrestling attack or a striking attack, can be placed in each one of these reference points. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to add a strike because it's easy to show how an attack can be placed in each one of those 4 reference points. So on the first reference point, I've got raise, pow, to the inside. So I can put a shot right onto this pad here. Pow, I could go to the eyes. Okay, when I raise, I go bam to the body. I go bam to the eyes. Okay, so there's a shot in there. So we can actually start inserting that shot into our Hubud. Okay, so I can insert a shot on the inside reference point. We're just playing around with different strikes, putting them under the inside line. Notice I went for an eye jab in one, I did a body slap in the other. Again, we're not trying to get fancy with our tools. We're just illustrating that strikes can be placed in that inside reference point.
Application of reference point 2. Underneath.
Underneath. Raise. Underneath. Okay? Raise underneath, slap and hit. So any one of these reference points, you can put a bead in. Just a different time.
Application of reference point 3. Outside.
We can go inside, bam! We can go underneath, bam! What about the outside? Raise, on that third beat, right? Bam! Raise, hit. Bam! Raise, bam!
Application of reference point 4. On top.
So, There it was. We had one on the inside, boom, one underneath, bam, one on the third beat. Okay, so it's really just a matter of timing. Where's that strike going in? On the 1, 2, 3, or the 4, 1, 2, 3, which is already a strike. Okay, so again, the point is Hubud gives you 4 different reference points to insert attacks.
What about the left hand?
On the left, I'm going to use the exact same pattern I did on the right, which is a left, right, left, right. So he comes in the left, I'm going to go left, right, left, right. And as you can see, I used the exact same pattern, it just created a different type of angle. Good. Left, right, bam! Good. So when we do this pattern, what we've done is we've taken ourselves, and I go left, right, rather than be on the outside when I'm done, I end up in the inside lateral field of engagement, which creates different opportunities. Nice.
Attack by combination.
When I go to the inside, raise, slap, hit. I've got to worry about this backup weapon. Okay, so when he comes, boom, I may get him, which is great. I'm having a good day. But if I'm worried about this backup weapon here, and he shoots, this converts into a parry. So I go raise, slap, hit, and now I can raise, slap out this way. So when I'm dealing with attack by combination, I can double up my Hubud to match the technique. So raise, slap, hit, raise, slap, hit. Raise, slap, hit, raise, slap. So part of it is when he comes in, the timing will change. So what I'm doing is I'm playing with a more advanced attack pattern. I'm still using my Hubud. I'm taking the exact same pattern, I'm just adapting it to different hand patterns. Single direct attack. Hey. Attack by combination. Nice. So now we're adding a more sophisticated level of attack. I mean, there's a lot of techniques you can do. What I'm trying to do is illustrate just the fact that Hubud can be adapted to single versus combination attacks.
3 center lines.
As you know, there are 3 center lines on the human body. There's the axis rotation line, which allows rotation, and it's also where a lot of the high value anatomical targets are. Center line 1. Center line 2 is the high reference point. Right here at the upper pivot point line, this is the high reference point, okay? These are like the railroad tracks of our attack. This is the low reference point. So this is the low railroad track, okay? So we have the high, the low, and the axis rotation line. Most of the drills we've been doing have been on the high reference point. Most of the drills. So this is a high reference point attack, and we're doing Hubud on the high reference point. What about the low reference point? So Hubud can be adapted to that. So rather than raise, slap, and hit, we can go drop, slap, and hit.
The low reference point.
Supposing Sean's coming in with an uppercut. Drop, slap, and uppercut. Drop, slap, and hit. And now we're working the low reference point. I go drop, slap. If he tries to hit me from here, I've neutralized his backup weapon. Drop. See the neutralization? It's not that he can't get me. It's just been neutralized to the point where even if he does get me, it doesn't really have any juice. It doesn't need power. Okay? So I go drop, slap. We've neutralized it. Again, that's one of the great things about Hubud. We're constantly repping getting to that magic spot, that most vulnerable part of the human body, the golden triangle. Now we're playing with 2 center lines. We've got the low reference point. We've got the high reference point. And depending on if he goes low, we can now play with this way. Wow, we're just kind of feeling our way around here.
Mixed center lines, high and low, and the infinite fractal.
Center lines give you training reference points, but they're not perfect. They're just guidelines. Depending on what's going on, it may make sense for me to push this down to the low, and he comes in with the low. Boom. See the multi-line attack there? He did a low, slap, high, raise, raise combination. And so, right, pass this way. I can pass this way. So I can do a high pass or a low pass. So when he comes low, I can go pass, pass, stop, hit. Now he blocked. Pass, pass. See all these variations that start? Hubud becomes a fractal pattern. It starts at a motion point, and then you layer and layer variation after variation and become sophisticated. Again, there's so many variations. It's an infinite fractal. It's infinite in nature. There is unlimited variations you can put in this. We're just putting in different variations just to show you how to start expanding the pattern.
4 domains of completeness. Physical force is the blend of firepower and movement. There are 2 types of firepower, weapons and empty hands. There are 2 types of movement, stand-up and ground. For a self-defense move to be the greatest, it needs to provide comprehensive coverage in each one of the 4 domains.
When we talk about self-defense, talk about street fighting. For a move to be complete, it has to cover at least 4 domains, which is stand-up, empty hand, ground, and weapons. Well, how does Hubud apply to weapons? Well, we can modify this drill to adjust it. Everything we've done so far has been stand-up and empty hand. But actually, Hubud can be adjusted to a weapon. So let's go into that and show how that works.
Hubud and Weapons.
Take the classic Hubud. He's got a dagger. This could be any kind of implement. It doesn't have to be a dagger. It could be anything he can get his hands on that's short and sharp. So raise, slap, and hit. I've stopped the thrust damage and the point of pressure damage, which is great. What gets most people when they're doing empty hand against knife is the retraction damage. Oh, damn. So the Hubud has a built-in defense against all 3 damage types, the thrust, the point of pressure, and the retraction. I'm going to try to retract on this strongly. I'm going to try to cut him. So I'm legitimately trying to slice his arm. If he didn't do this Hubud and just stopped it, wow, his arm would be toast. But the Hubud, actually, I end up retracting it back in myself. So it actually facilitates retraction. If I retract high, come back this way, back into me. If I go, there's a lot of different grips of the dagger, a lot of different types of weapons. I don't want to get into all that. There's a reverse grip, there's a natural grip. The point being is the Hubud covers both the empty hand and the weapon, which makes it complete for the street fight. Now you may be saying, Scott, what about ground? Hubud can be adapted to ground as well. Let's review.
Hubud and Ground.
We're talking about a self-defense technique that's really robust, anti-fragile, something that thrives when you put pressure on it. It's got to be adaptable to ground, weapon, stand up, and empty hand. All. So here we got empty hand. He's in an open guard position on the ground. I'm going to start throwing punches. But what did he do? The Hubud has driven my hand into the ground. And now he's taken the golden triangle, which allows him to do his, whether he does his jiu-jitsu, his MMA from here, this is the opportune angle to add strikes and hits. You can see that the Hubud is adaptable to the ground.
Ground plus weapons plus flow.
Hopefully you're never in this situation. Dagger on ground. Notice what happened here? Dagger. Slap hit. Bang! Now he's got the weapon on the ground. We can make this flow a little bit to develop some attributes. Big slap hit. And now we're doing the pattern from the ground. So I'm putting my guard in. I'm looking for opportunities. Now again, there's all sorts of attacks in here. Remember, we have the inside-outside reference point. But I'm looking for opportunities to potentially get my attack off in here. See, knife out. I'm not saying this is not without risk. I'm not saying this isn't dangerous. I'm not saying this is the best situation to be in. But life or death. I haven't gotten stabbed. He pulls. More flow. I'm looking for opportunities to get that technique on. Okay, there it is. Again, just an example. There it is.
In closing,
All right, thank you for your time today. We hope you found this enjoyable. Hope you found this comprehensive. Again, Hubud is one of the greatest self-defense techniques due to its comprehensive nature, its ability to systemically get into your nervous system, the ability to train the fight or flight response, and its adaptability to different situations. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.
for more on this topic, please refer to the book Strategic Engagement of Force, a field guide for the use of martial arts strategy and tactics. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you want more videos like this one.